It is 11:04 p.m. on Saturday night, and I'm still at Kauffman Stadium after witnessing another brutal loss by the Kansas City Royals, losing to the Houston Astros 8-7 after a 2-hour and 51-minute game that had an hour and 34-minute rain delay starting in the eighth inning. What's up, you guys? This is the KCSN Live Royals postgame show. I'm Joel Penfield, still out here at Kauffman Stadium. Kevin O'Brien joining me late on a Saturday night. And if you are watching this live at 11:05 p.m. Central Time, you are a sicko because this team is 28-43. And not good. And today may be the time of death, given the injury to Vinny Pasquantino. But if you're here, God bless you. And Lee87 is in the chat, and I should expect nothing less. Tornado warning at the game. That's a new one. I have not had to shelter for a tornado warning since I lived in Oklahoma in like 2019. So that was certainly a new one for me.
Where do you guys go? Do you just stay where you're at?
We were up there for a bit. We just stayed in there. Like the sirens were going off, but we didn't get the warning yet. So we were just chilling in the press box. And then we find all of our phones lit up at the same time. And it was like, we just went to the staircase between the second and third levels. We're like, this is good enough. And we sat there for 10, 15 minutes and then went back up at 9:15 when the warning was done. And then we just waited and hoped that they were going to keep this thing going. And it wasn't going to be much later than it was. They restarted at 10:05 and that felt like about the end of my rope for when they needed to actually start this thing again. So, but hey, they got done. Shout out to the grounds crew for getting the tarp on before the rain hit. Whether your opinion of whether they should have restarted, should have continued to the top of the eighth inning prior to tarping the field is another conversation. I found it to be ridiculous, but what do I know?
Yeah, this was the most Midwest approach to a game that I've ever seen. Is that you're literally putting on the Crown Vision that hey, go to shelter, that we're in a warning, and yet you're still playing the game and not just even playing.
That was insane to me. Dude, I'm like that. This is ridiculous. This is the most Midwest thing possible because I grew up in Kansas. I lived in Oklahoma for 6 years. You know what good Midwestern folks do when they hear the sirens. You walk outside. You don't go to your basement. You assess the situation and then you figure it out. That's basically what happened tonight.
Yeah. It was like, I think we could play another half inning. I don't think it's that bad, and it was that bad because, we gave up a home run that tied the game. And at least you got to watch the Knicks finals victory. I hope you guys were able to watch that in the press.
Completed a very successful San Antonio Spurs hate watch. That was fantastic. As a Thunder fan, that was glorious. It was great to watch the entire NBA fandom at large realize Victor Wembanyama is a dirty fraud, but hey, it's super fun. Everyone that's been bitching about the Thunder for 2+ years, everyone and Thunder fans tried telling you, hey, the Spurs play football too. They foul and they grift just as bad, if not worse. Yeah. And it was fun watching the collective minds of everyone go, oh my God, they were right. Crazy. And then they get gentlemen swept, and it's beautiful. We actually have a baseball game we need to talk about. Do we want to? Not really, but here we are, and that's what we're paid to do. A back and forth game. The Royals did it with some frenzy hitting throughout the middle innings. The Astros did it with some power. They hit 4 home runs in this game. Noah Cameron gave up 2. Schreiber gave up 1 on what I didn't think was a really terrible pitch. Jake Myers dropped the head on it. And then Strom, for the 4th consecutive outing, gives up a home run. They ultimately weren't the difference, though, because the game was still tied. The last run coming in the 9th inning off Alex Lang, which wasn't Alex Lang's fault. He gets the ground ball double play that he's looking for, and Lofton just biffs the throw and throws it wide of Kaggs, and that was your ball game. Yeah. This was, I think the 9th inning is a perfect microcosm of where this team is at. And it has been the constant theme all year. It's something that we've talked about in different areas, something I talked about really early in the season, and it's just kind of been the theme. The team doesn't do any of the little things right. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. Just Lofton missing a throw that not even like he was about to get his leg taken out a la 1984. He had the easy neighborhood play. He gets it there and just completely misses it Cags, who's 6'4" with the reach of what, probably 6'10",
Mm-hmm.
he still couldn't rein it in. Initially, I thought maybe Cags missed it, but then they showed the replay, and no, he had fully outstretched, and it was barely hitting the tip of his glove. And then in the 9th inning, Bobby hits a double. He's a tying run, 1 out in the 9th, and a soft liner over the head, or trying, to Jeremy Pena. Maybe it's over Jeremy Pena's head. Bobby takes off, but still unsure. Ball gets caught, and you're doubled off. And that's your best player making a horrific base running mistake that in Little League they teach you: freeze or get back on a line drive. You don't have to score there. You would have runners on the corners with Mike Hill coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, that 9th inning just is like, it's why this team is 28-43. I mean, it's little stuff like that. I'll give Cags credit for the base running in the 2nd inning when he goes first to third on the ground ball, running on the play with 3-2, and he gets the third, ends up scoring the run. That's great. But how often are we really talking about the base running, like the good things, the base running, right? Yeah. It's been a problem most of the year. And that the 9th inning to me was like seeing both of those mistakes that are like the little stuff, the fundamental stuff popping up again. It's June 13th, and we're still seeing a lot of those mistakes is infuriating.
Yeah. And, don't also forget, I mean, even that one that Carter Jensen got thrown out on with the throw from Matthews, which, felt like a very shallow fly ball. And again, I get it. Like, the Royals are trying to get some runs. You're not really trusting a lot of your guys in those key spots. But I mean, Jensen was toast, and Jensen's not a slow runner, and it was not even close. And again, it's just kind of like you said, it's these.
That one didn't bother me as much though. That was one where I'm like, okay, he's going to go. It's going to take a good throw to get him. And to the credit of Matthews, he made the play. So like that one didn't bother me as much. Like that's one of those where you just kind of tip your cap. That's a mid left field fly ball. It wasn't so shallow that I'm like, I think that was a bad send. It was aggressive, but I don't think it was bad. I think that was just more of a good play than a Royals mistake, if that makes sense. Like that one, I'm willing to throw in a different bucket.
And I get that. I guess my thought is it's kind of a similar situation, right? Like you're like, hey, we got Michael coming up right now. And at that point, like it's like, is the risk worth it? But I mean, is it as egregious as Bobby's? Is it as egregious as the Loft? And the Lofton error was, I mean, you saw as soon as he threw it, he knew it was going. He kind of did the whole lean and like, oh my gosh. And I don't know what's been with Lofton. If you look at
he's horrific defensively.
Outs above average, he is horrific at second base.
And he's bad at third too. Like, I mean, the outs above average is like -9, and it's not like he's had an abundance of defensive opportunities given that he predominantly platoons with Massey. So it starts against lefties and then late game stuff. So the fact that that's the defensive statistics are what they are in that regard is rough. That is the downside of that platoon because Massey's defense is very, very good, and Massey makes that throw in his sleep.
Yes. And that's I think a big issue with Lofton right now is that, I mean, it's always we know he had on base and he was always, I mean, he wasn't great defensively, but he wasn't bad, but he's bad. And it's like, and right now it's like, even whether it's you're going by the metrics or the eye test, it's not good. And again, it's just these little things. And it's especially this week, I feel like, especially at home, whether it was against the Astros or against the Rangers, I was in attendance on Wednesday and it just kind of felt like those little things just kind of pile up. And this just team can't really come through when they need to. And it's just, I don't know. At this point, it's just like you're kind of just expecting. You can't trust the bullpen when they come. You can't trust anybody when they come in for the bullpen. It doesn't matter if it's Daniel Lynch or Alex Lang or Matt Strahm. It seems like anybody is going to fall apart at any given second. And that's just a rough place to be. This feels very much like 2023, that first half of 2023, when it was just like, like we can't really trust anybody in any spot. It just felt like this is a bad team and just such a shame considering where our expectations were at the start of the year.
Yeah, and if you're invoking 2023, I mean, that makes this probably the most disappointing Royals season of my lifetime given the expectation. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you think about what was expected of this team, I think 2017 falls into that bucket as well. It was the last ride with all of the core guys before we all knew they were going to leave in free agency, and they really underachieved. The trade deadline blew up in their face, and they finished 80 and 82. Like, that was obviously disappointing because we felt like that might be the last opportunity for the playoffs for a few years. But when you consider the state of the American League, the state of the AL Central, what this team, the talent that we felt this team had, right? And people want to debate that. We know the talent that this team has, and they are underachieving it. The fact that the bullpen has blown up in their face, the injuries have piled up, and that's not an excuse, but it is part of the story.
Mm-hmm.
It has culminated in this being probably the most disappointing Royals season that I can think of, at least in my lifetime. I know I'm 29, so it's not like I watched those early and mid 90s teams that were painful. And I know that people want to invoke that, and I totally understand. But from what I have watched, like, we knew there were a lot of seasons where it's like, this team isn't going to be very good. Like, we knew, but when you go in knowing that, it's a little bit different, right? And I think that's why people are so pissed off, because this was supposed to be a playoff team. This is supposed to be a team that was going to compete for the division. And that's not just us talking about it. That's people nationally talking about it, that thought that this was a year that the Royals could make some noise once again and get back to the postseason. And this team is nowhere close. And they aren't going to turn it around. Every time they give you that little glimmer, like I talked about on Thursday night, every time they give you that little bit, they rip it away and lose 4 in a row, which is exactly what has happened. They start June really well. You lose that game in brutal fashion on Wednesday. Felt like that was maybe the moment they let go of the rope. I don't know, but I thought maybe that was that Yankees game where they lost late and then got outscored 22-1. It feels like right now that was maybe the moment that it happened, because it felt like, okay, we win this series. There'll be 3 series wins in a row. We're playing really well. See where things go, and then it just all fell apart from there.
Yeah. I mean, I think this season somewhat feels a little bit like 2022, but even the 2022, because we came
that
up.
2022 team was really fake good though. Yeah, like they had that April, but everyone knew, like, okay, something's not right here. Even people that are optimistic are like, I don't know about this, and then they still lost 90 something games.
Right. And I think that was the thing, is like, they got like Andrew Benintendi, like in 2021. It was like, hey, like we got Zach Greinke, and it was just like these guys that look great on paper, and then kind of once it actually came to fruition, they weren't good. And again, I think both of us can say, like, we felt like in the offseason this team made the right moves. I mean, you improved the bullpen, you brought in Isaac Collins, you brought in Lane Thomas, to help with splits, and it's just been a perfect storm. I mean, perfect storm of injuries, just with Reagans and Bubic, and them not looking like they're going to come back anytime soon. And
the pregame stuff from Q was ominous on that. Like, Cole woke up and didn't feel good today, and like cut his catch short yesterday. I don't know when he's going to throw next. And then Bubic is going for it's what seems like a second opinion of some sort, or he's going back to the doctor to take a look. Like, and it's also guys that you were hoping that maybe you could get some trade value for, like Bubic, Isbell. Like, I don't know if they would necessarily have traded Isbell, but would have been a conversation piece. But with the plantar fascia injury, that's done. Obviously no one's taking a stab at Reagans right now, because, I mean, he's a ticking time bomb anytime he steps on the mound, unfortunately. It's just brutal. And Lee 87 said it in the chat, and I was about to go there and say this, but that Estevez outing in Atlanta was probably the canary in the coal mine for the season that we should have seen coming, right? Given that was supposed to be the answer in the bullpen after being a guy that gets 40-something saves last year and kind of locks the game down. Even if there was going to be some regression, you still felt like, okay, we at least have the 9th inning figured out for now, and we'll figure it out later, and everybody gets bumped up. And then the season goes to hell because you can't trust anybody in the bullpen. And then you figure it out for a bit, and then it all goes to hell again. And then you get figured out for a little bit, and then it all goes again. It's brutal. We'll talk a little more about the bullpen piece. Strom obviously needs to be a conversation, and then we'll talk about the Vinny injury and the ramifications of that. We do need to take a break. We will be right back.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others, and not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
David Starnes Allstate Insurance is a proud partner of KC Sports Network, serving the Kansas City area and all throughout the Midwest. If you are looking for new coverage or something that better suits your home, auto, health, or any of your other insurance needs, give Dave and his team a call. Elevate your coverage and be worry-free with David Starnes Allstate Insurance.
You know that moment, the one when you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach or on the roof of your car or at the gas station 3 states away. Well, I've been there too. But then I found Shady Rays and it changed the game. These sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. And here's the wild part. If you lose them or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So now I actually wear my sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, wherever. They have sunglasses for golfing, fishing, hiking, and biking, even sunglasses for kids. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use code KCSN for 40% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Okay, let's talk about the 8th inning. That, again, debatable about how they handled the tarping versus not. But Matt Strahm comes in and for the 4th consecutive outing gives up a home run, hung a slider to Jose Altuve that he tomahawked out into the bullpen, and it, kind of a weird pitch because it's up and above the zone. So you're like, it's a bad pitch, but it's also not a terrible spot given that it's up like that. But Altuve's hands are so good even still, and he just tomahawked it and hit it out. But again, the results are what they are. It's 4 consecutive outings that one of your relievers that you're supposed to rely upon in high leverage, it's not there, and it's brutal. And again, it's a guy that you were supposed to rely on, and he can't be relied upon at all right now. And we talked to him after the game, and he said, I feel like I'm executing like 85% of the time. Like I'm getting swings that I want. I'm locating my pitches, but when I miss, it's getting hammered. So which is obviously, that's the fact. And at least there's some self-awareness there. No, hey, when I'm missing right now, it's getting crushed, but it's also the stuff just isn't what it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It's 89 to 91, the slider is 80. It's a cement mixer right now. And it seems it doesn't matter if he's in the middle of the zone, it's getting crushed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a mechanical thing. I don't know if it's just Father Time got him after 10 years in the show, but I don't know how you reassess his role. We talked about it. I don't know what you do in the bullpen at this point. I feel like no matter what the mix is, there's not much you can do about this. I think you just let it ride, and it is what it is at this point. But man, it's tough, man. It's tough sledding.
Yeah, right. I kind of see that, right? I think you look at Strahm, he does his number. His FIP's not good, but his ERA, at least going into this one, wasn't terrible. Now it's back up to 5.40.
Low 4s.
Yeah, and it's and again, it's just one of those. And this is again why stuff is important, because if you have great stuff, if you have great movements, then when you do make mistakes, it's not going to kill you as much as it does when you don't have good stuff. And the reality is, it's, Strahm even said it. It's look, I'm making mistakes 15% of the time or whatever. And that's just for a high leverage guy, for a guy right now that we need somebody to be stepping up. That's just hard to stomach, because they need somebody that's not going to get crushed, or they need something, because right now we don't know who that is. Even Urseg in his outing, this
still
week,
guy didn't get a lot of swing and miss. No,
they're not getting swing and a miss. That's just a big problem with this bullpen, and I think that's where it feels a lot like 2023 was. It felt like that was the issue we had.
There was no answers. You had Chapman, but you weren't in a lot of situations where you're going to throw him because he didn't win games.
Correct. So I think that's and I guess that really comes down to how they approach this bullpen, because it seems like since JJ's taken over, it's, hey, we're really trying to flood this with proven guys, because I know that was an issue in 2022, was there wasn't a lot of that kind of presence. And while I think there's a value to it, we're also getting guys that just really are just past their prime. I mean, whether it was like Will Smith and Chris Stratton, now it's Strand. It's like we got to be more creative. We got to be more like Milwaukee and Cleveland, who are just really stacking assets right now, because really that's what it kind of takes. And right now you go to AAA, there's not like a lot of options. Who are you going to bring up? That's going to be a bullpen. Helcris Olivares, who walks twice as many as he strikes out. Like, I don't know what you can do. It's really a tough thing to stomach right now.
Yeah, like one of the only guys in your bullpen with like the stuff for a reliever is Steven Cruz, and he's still up and down and gets crushed when he's even in the zone. But he's been better as of late, to be fair. Like he has pitched well lately, and hopefully that means he's turning the corner. But yeah, like I understand they're like trying to find guys that have kind of been there, done that, and a lot of high, like especially for a team that needs it. But at a certain point, 98 plays.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the experience or not, right? I think we saw that in, the mid-2010s with Greg Holland, where he was a middle reliever kind of starting to move into that role. They trade Jonathan Broxton. They give him the reins because the stuff is really good. And we saw what he was able to do. They converted Wade Davis from a starter to a reliever and a high leverage reliever. And obviously – I'm not going to sit here and act like there's the next Wade Davis sitting in this rotation, but it's showing that it can be done, that you can go and you can find these guys and that you can convert guys into bullpen roles, and it can raise their ceiling. Like that's why I think Luinder Avila sits into that conversation. We've talked about that. And I think obviously it kind of confirms my priors when he has an outing like he did yesterday, where he couldn't get anyone out as a starter. Yeah. I know he had 2 previous outings that were good, but the walks are still not great. I'd rather him just go and blow it out for 1 inning and go, hey, man, run it up to 100. Screw it. Like, I'd rather him do that than try and sit at 95, 96, because the fastball just plays better with it up a couple of ticks.
Yeah. And I wonder if –
I'm just curious what the season where it's at, like how creative they get with this. Like what – because at this point, what do you have to lose? You're going to lose 90 games. Like at least try some stuff so that you can go into 27 at least with some, hey, I know we didn't win a lot last year, but we got 3 or 4 guys that we really think can be good for this bullpen. Or we got a couple of guys that we think, can start games for this team. We have a foundation to move forward with in a few different areas, and we don't have to go and rely on these wily veterans that have been there, done that. I know that their stuff is down 3 miles an hour from what it was a couple of years ago, but damn it, they know how to get out. Screw that. Like I'm tired. Like I think I kind of reached my end with that, and I completely agree. And like I'm not going to retcon the trade too much. Like JJ's kind of earned the benefit of the doubt when it comes to trades, like and making the right decisions with those. This one is kind of blown up on him, but I'm not going to act like I think Jonathan Bolin would have been some massively effective reliever for this team either. Like he may be fine, but I don't think that he's necessarily like I don't think it necessarily warrants being like I can't believe we traded that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes you wonder a little bit, and I know that, Curtis talked about Cole Reagans, and I also wonder you look at a guy like Bubic, right? And it's like, I understand Bubic had a great run as a starter last year before injury, but we saw him as a very
that's the operative point.
Yeah, is that he can't stay healthy. And I wonder if maybe you look at Cole Reagans and maybe you kind of have the same approach. It's like, yes, we know he can be incredible as a starter, but do we just maybe really focus on Reagans, focus on being a reliever that can really has stuff that plays, that we know he can strike guys out?
He could be awesome as a reliever if he leans into it. Yes. I don't think they'll do that. No. I think we're just kind of talking that maybe that's the case. I think it's a really interesting angle. Mm-hmm. I would be intrigued to see what it looks like, because that could be really fun. Yes. If it works. But I don't think they would go that route. I really don't. Like there are certain things where I'm like, yeah, get creative. I think that's one that's even beyond the pale for them, right?
But I mean, you look at the Rangers kind of closer right now.
I'm trying to think. Oh, Latz.
And you watch Latz, and when you watch Latz, he feels so much like Cole Reagans out there. Just the way he throws, just the way he follows through, just his release point. It's so much like Reagans, and And Lads is just very good. And it's just, and I wonder, like, man, like, could you put, and again, I know that's not what everybody envisioned, but the reality is Cole Reagans has not had a healthy season since 2024. So we have to,
given what they're paying him, like, it's not like you have a $35 million reliever.
correct.
You know what I mean? You know, they gave him 3 for 13. Like, you can put him in the bullpen, and it's not like you're at a cost deficit with it. Like, there's not the same sort of cost benefit analysis they would do like with Seth Lugo, where you gave him 3 for 63. Like, oh, we think he might need to go to the bullpen. Like, then you have a $22 million reliever.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, that's not good economics from a baseball perspective.
Right.
So it's a little bit different in that regard. I would like to wrap up on this because, frankly, I want to get home.
I get it. It's late.
Vinny Pasquantino took a swing in the, if I can find it, 5th inning, and he pops up and immediately is like in some pain. And from where I was, I thought it was his shoulder, just with the way his arm was kind of hanging. But because it looked like he kind of had his arm like holding it right here, which you see normally when guys have like a shoulder pop out or whatever. But then on the broadcast, Joel they mentioned, hey, it looked like he was really writhing with his hand. And when I heard hand, I went, that might be a hamate.
Yeah.
Which has been the injury going across baseball. Jose Ramirez went on the shelf today with a hamate injury. Lindor had one preseason. Jackson Holiday had one preseason. It's kind of the injury that's happening with hitters right now. It was the injury that basically zapped the power for Blake Mitchell last season, and he missed a bunch of time with it. Q after the game said they're going to know more tomorrow, but very likely an IL stint. Noah Cameron kind of let it slip that it's probably going to be surgery in his post-game comments. But yeah, I mean that sort of injury is 2 months probably. You know, even probably maybe even more. Who knows? And when they come back, the one of the negatives of that injury is like it's a fairly easy like rehab, generally speaking. But the problem is it's where you grip the bat because it's like right in there, I want to say.
Right.
And then you're putting pressure on that. So you don't want to swing super hard, which then zaps your power. And Vinny already really hasn't had a ton of that this year. He's only got, I think, what was that, 6 home runs?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, 6 home runs. So I wouldn't imagine he hits many more if he does come back. And it sounds like John Rave got pulled from the game in Omaha today. For what it's worth, I would imagine this means Jack moves down to first base for the foreseeable future. And then it's a combination of Meisner, Collins, Rave, and Lane Thomas. But predominantly, I would imagine the outfield is left to right, Collins, Meisner, Thomas, with Rave, getting some time every once in a while as a 4th outfielder where he can play all 3 of those positions.
Yep.
But it's brutal. I know Vinny's not the same guy that he was last year. I know that he has struggled. I know he's caught the ire of fans because of what he has not been what we have kind of billed him to be and what he has been for the last 2+ seasons. But he's still incredibly important to this team on and off the field. When he's right, this offense goes. And he was in the middle of an 8-game hitting streak where he was hitting over 340 and a 10-game on base streak. Seemed like he had started to heat up on the road trip and heading into June. And now this, practically could end his season, which is just, it's brutal on a lot of fronts, but this is kind of where I'm like, might be time of death here for like any sort of optimism for the rest of this season from the perspective of, can they turn it around? I don't think that happens anymore. I know Bobby's going to be great the rest of this year. Carter looks like he's starting to get going a little bit, getting comfortable in the leadoff spot. Jack's obviously had a great June, but Vinny matters a lot for this team. Don't forget about Marte in the outfield. I think it's fair that I forgot about Starling Marte for the outfield, if we're being totally honest with ourselves.
Yeah. Well, he's one of their few tradable assets right now. It's like, or at least somebody, maybe a team says we need a guy that can platoon. And because, right, with Bubic injury, who knows, with Isbell hurt. Like somebody says, are we buyers or sellers? Well, we're obviously sellers, but who are we going to sell?
Yeah.
It's like, John
Schreiber. The only guys you can sell are Waka, maybe Lugo if you can get someone to bite on it, but I don't think that happens.
Yeah, you're getting
Schreiber. I think the Daniel Lynch conversation heats up now.
Yeah,
because he's one of your few tradable assets that could probably net you something because it's a year plus. and it's a really low cost. But there's not much else.
No.
Maybe you get, if Lane Thomas is hitting well in June, maybe you get someone to bite on him, which I think someone totally would as a fourth or fifth outfielder, totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you would get like probably a AA lottery ticket in return, which again, that's fine. Just build up the farm, right?
Right.
But it does suck with some of the injuries. Like, I don't think they would have traded Vinny, but I think they would have listened. And now that's gone. Who's going to trade for Starling Marte in 2026?
Yeah,
legit. I'm serious. Like, who would?
Yeah,
and if you do trade him, it's a player to be named later, or a 16-year-old Dominican summer league guy that maybe he throws 96 and you're hopeful. Like, there's not a lot there. I mean, it has kind of been the season from hell in a lot of areas.
Yeah. I'd be really curious to see what happens because, Jack's arm strength has been incredible in right field, but the range and the OA data has not been good.
It's kind of it's regressed for sure. He was like a league average for about the first 2 months, and I'm like, oh, hey, if he's a league average defender, shoot. Like, that's a win. And then obviously it's taken a nosedive, but he's hitting now. So correct. I don't care. Like, he could carry a skillet out there and wear it on his hand for all I care. If he's hitting, like, I don't worry about any of that. But now he's in play first base. Obviously, you lose some value with the arm, but is he maybe a little more rangy than Vinny in certain areas? Probably. Yeah. So maybe you get a little bit of a net plus defense at first, but how much does first base defense really matter in the grand scheme of things? And now we have to watch an outfield of Meisner and Collins and Lane Thomas or Rave. It's like, we're kind of back to where we were in 2025.
Yeah. But I'm curious, though, if Kaggs continues to hit like he does with his Vinny injury, and if Kaggs does fine at first base, which he probably should, does that open the conversation in the offseason for them to say, maybe do the Royals look at trading Vinny? I mean,
I could see that being a conversation, certainly. Especially, and I wonder if playing first base, a less demanding position. I don't like playing right field in the grand scheme of defense is not that demanding because, again, you're mostly out there to hit and you're just out there to not be a disaster in the field. But playing first base, he's not having to run around as much. It's a little more short area quickness, if that's, maybe a little bit better on his body. And over the course of the season, it actually helps his offense a little bit. Yeah. We start to see some more of the power, some more of that start to come through. And if you want to take one thing away from this season, it is just watching Jack for the rest of the year and just see how this continues to roll. Because if he hits 260 with 25 to 30 homers this year, which I'm not going to rule out, given the way he's hit the ball for the last few weeks, almost calendar month at this point, then the conversation shifts to, okay, he is part of this thing. Like, moving forward, the core is Michael, Bobby, Jack, and Carter. And we build around that. And really, that is 2/3 of your up the middle with your shortstop and your catcher long term. And then you have a middle of the order bat, and you have a defensive wizard at third that's a pretty damn good hitter in his own right. So there is still that aspect of, okay, what is this thing going to look like as we move forward? Because the Royals are not going to tear this thing down. They are not going to punt on this core, because if they do, get ready to lose for another presidential administration plus. And I don't think anyone in Kansas City wants that, especially with the new stadium coming. I know ownership doesn't want that. I know this front office doesn't want that. So, yes, this season has sucked. Yes, this season has gone to hell in a handbasket. But they're going to have to find a way to retool this, and hopefully they find a way to do that over the next few months, whether both internally and externally.
Yeah, I don't think they hired J.J. Piccolo if they were like, hey, we're going to have a long rebuild, right, or going through that process. And so I agree. I agree.
He's already been here for long enough of that.
Yeah, and John Sherman, he wants to win. I mean, I know people give crap to John Sherman about the stadium and all that stuff.
No one likes their owner, though.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody likes their owner. I mean, but John Sherman wants to win, and I think if they're feeling like, hey, this isn't happening, I wouldn't be surprised if Sherman opens up the checkbook a little bit this offseason for a bigger name, of whether it's a batter or a pitcher. But unfortunately, in order to get there, we have to go through the slog of this year, which is unfortunate because as Royals fans, we want more.
With the potential of a 2027 season looking bleak as it is.
Yes.
Too. So that just makes it even worse. So we get the depression of watching a baseball team that is not very good, in addition to we may not be able to watch baseball at all next year.
Right.
So we have that dark cloud looming, as well as dark clouds loomed over Kansas City pretty much all evening. I think that's going to wrap this post-game show up. It's 11:40. I have a 45-minute drive home. I'd like to get some sleep before I have to get up with my daughter at 6:30 in the morning, because I know that the one morning that I am back super late and I'm not going to get a lot of sleep is the morning she's going to wake me up way earlier than I want it to. But that is going to do it for this show. Kevin, thank you for joining me so late. I hope you get to sleep in the morning and enjoy your Sunday. Thank you to everyone that watched this thing live, watches this later, listens on the audio side. Like, rate, subscribe, review, leave a 5-star review on the audio side. We appreciate that. And we will talk next weekend, after the Cardinals series, which is going to be a Thursday, Friday, Sunday because of the Saturday World Cup game. After tomorrow, the Royals head to Washington, D.C. to play a 3-game set against the Nationals before coming right back home. So a quick little road trip. We'll be back one Royal way early in the week, like what should be normal. And I think Royals pipeline coming up this week as well. I imagine we're getting a little more draft heavy.
Oh,
I'm
it's
excited
draft
for that conversation.
It's draft heavy.
Hey, that 1.6 pick's going to be real important given what we have seen this year.
Yep.
Appreciate everybody. We will talk soon. Have a good one, y'all.
Yep.